Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry channel, and with me tonight are Minions SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
And DrFunctional.
Hello.
You are such a funny guy.
What'd I do?
Your smoke alarm thing.
It's not my smoke alarm.
Okay.
It's my cat.
All right. Anyway, how have you been, Functional? You said you're tired. You said you're working hard.
How have you been functional?
Hard. Words hard. Yeah. No, it was a busy day. It was been. Oh my god, it's a fucking hell of a week. Okay, rant time. I'm being audited by the CRA, Canadian Revenue Agency.
Nice.
Why? I have no fucking idea.
Oh, you've got a bad social media score. That's why.
Yeah.
Skep,
that is what it is.
That
is what it is.
You might be partially in jest, but I totally
no. That's
okay.
I'm dead serious.
I'm because that's what I'm thinking too, Skep, because they probably did some snooping now that Bill C-11 has passed, and that they're bold-faced literally canceling people to the point of oblivion in taking away their bank accounts and their jobs and everything like that. And not just the people who participated in trucker convoy honk
if you
shenanigans
or you even wrote an email of support, they are going after those people.
Yeah, I mean, I often make spicy comments about how certain Western dictators need to face the wall in Minecraft, and it's
you may have been reported to them by a patriot.
Yeah, maybe. So I mean,
a comrade turned you in.
It does seem that it's a little, but you know what? Like, I've always filed my taxes. Nothing. There's really no way. Like, well, I haven't filed them, but like other people who are professionals have filed them, and I trust me when I say that there's nothing there. It seems like it's going to be some kind of scare tactic, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Cannibalistic Wizard, it's a dark time in my life. I was young. I needed the money. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sitting here flashing on Pavlik Morozov kind of a thing. Morozov was the 13-year-old who turned in his entire family to the Soviets and had them shot.
Yeah.
You could...
I mean, it's a weird time.
Oh, let's see. And Hammer's joining us. Hi, Hammer.
Don't hurt him.
Howdy.
Hammer.
Well, we need to let Functional finish complaining about being audited. So...
No, I just... that was it. I just wanted to bring it up because it seems very convenient, especially after all my bloviation about the dangers and damages that Bill C-11 were going to take, and... it's funny how they shut down any discussion in the House of Commons and Parliament about these bills. Like, literally said, no, we can't talk about this on the floor anymore. During, discussion period for the bill. And they've obviously been trying to do this a lot more, and you can't. And one of the big things about C-11 is you cannot share news articles. You can't even reference news articles. Excuse me. On social media. And it's weird time.
Yeah.
My social media is now just full of ads instead of ads and news articles. It's now just pure ads.
Well, just be a good consumer and, mind your P's and Q's, and it'll all work itself out eventually. I mean, isn't the Great White North basically just one big camp anyway?
Yeah, we're a giant open air prison for the United Kingdom.
It's just like
we're only here to spy on the United States, and just like Egypt, the United States will not let us over the border.
So Skep, think of one word. Okay, when you think of Canada, what's the first word that pops into your mind?
Bacon.
Yeah, I thought beavers, which just says volumes about me. What about you, Hammer? What's the first word you think of when you think of Canada?
Hockey.
Hockey.
Nice.
And then if I
Hockey,
go for the next
bacon.
one, I think of Molson.
Ew.
What?
Also, hold is another one that jumps in my head.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. So when do you have to sit down in front of some pencil-necked idiot who decides your fate, or are they just asking for a bunch of documentation?
Right now, it's a documentation thing, and then it's a notice saying, "Okay, we're going to require," basically saying this is an audit. We're going to require you to send us some supplementary documentation, and then like in the future, at some point they'll notify me when and where. It's like being called up into the principal's office. I honestly don't know what what legitimate reasons they would have had to trigger something.
Oh, I think you're going to get down there and they're going to say, "Oh, hey, take off. There's nothing wrong with your taxes, but we're going to have you sit in a room for a few years on account of some of the posts you've been making. So thanks for coming down."
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
have
what
you
I
watch
think
this
is going to
instructional video.
I don't think
it's 5 years long.
That might be an outcome, but to what Harry was saying, I don't think that's a thing that's
I'm just teasing you.
I think I know. I just think more on the they are going to have me sit in a room for several hours just to let me stew and put the fear of Gad.
It's part of the
government
tradition.
into me.
Nice.
And they'll come in and be like, "Yeah, so we're sorry, we messed up on your audit here. We don't think we need you to be here, and you're free to go, eh? Just you might want to be sure to be careful what you post on social media, yeah."
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Exactly.
What? Did you just say the quiet part out loud to me, right to my face, as handily my phone is recording? So when you
Word
go
to
into
the
those
wise
places,
is sufficient.
you take your phone.
Well, let's well, sorry about that. Let's get on with our
Yeah.
move on with our hellos. Hi, Skep.
Hello.
It's so good to be back. It's been a weird, crazy week. Just a lot of family stuff, some family stress stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice to be kicking back on Saturday night.
Well, I'm just in post-tax preparation bookkeeping hell. I'm trying to recover. Basically, I'm trying to get my brain back into some sort of non-jello state so I can do real work. That's
It's such a I know exactly what that's like. You get way into your finances, into your taxes, and it's like you have to unload some sub modules and reload the life modules so you can go out and live normally, because tax is just such an artificial environment with a lot of hidden costs. That's a secret inflator, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've got a pretty good system, but there's just so much work that you just can't get away from.
Right.
It's just, and I think
you're doing all of your bookkeeping from journal entry to closing the books.
Yeah, well, I had
It's a lot of work.
I had a guy who did them for years. Okay, it cost me like $2,000. That was great. And then one year I was like, okay, well, when are you going to do our taxes? When are you going to do my taxes? He's like, oh, well, I retired. I'm like, oh, excuse me, what? Oh yeah, I retired. And are you referring your business to somebody else? No, I'm retired. See you later. And that was just it. And I'm like, well, that sucks. It's nice to know where I rate.
God, yeah,
Yeah. And so I've been sort of doing it since then. And I've been managing it over the pandemic, but I need to find a bookkeeper. Well, I mean, okay. I had a bookkeeper another time that was just like crazy. Mostly I just have a CPA who looks over the books and gets my taxes done. But lately, I've just been doing it myself. I actually was a trained tax preparer at one point in my life.
As was I.
And
we have in common.
So it's not like when a normal person goes to do this stuff. It's like I'm actually very comfortable with the process of doing it.
You say I'm going to get publication 19 and go down.
Pub 17, Pub 19.
Pub 17. Well, it used to be Pub 19 back in the 70s, and they changed it to Pub 17.
Yeah. Nice.
I really wish they'd bring back some of the education on tax stuff.
Well, let's stop talking about taxes before Hammer regrets his decision to join us. Hi, Hammer. How have you been, man?
I have been well. I'm kind of under the gun with time because it's getting cold up here already. And I wanted to get the house ready for winter. And I was admittedly a little slow. You know, as summer was ending, I was like, oh, I'm enjoying this summer weather is great. I have 4 million things to do, but I'm going to just sit here on the patio for a while. But I did manage to get, we used to have a garbage retrieval service that actually had guys that picked up the trash and threw the trash in the garbage truck.
Yeah.
But then they moved into the automated one. So they gave us 2 new trash cans to work with the automated system where they just had like a claw come out and grab it and dump it.
Right.
But they didn't take the other 2 back. So I had 4. So, I mean, they're fairly big sized trash cans and I didn't know what to do with them. So I broke out the Sawzall and the jigsaw and cut them up in little pieces. And then I had this existential moment of putting the trash cans in the trash can.
The second order disposal.
It's like a yo dog, you know.
I was putting the plastic in the recyclable thing, thinking, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Putting trash can.
It's very meta.
Well, it's the other thing is how do you throw a trash can away? You put it out and the trash people come by, they don't pick it up, they leave it for, oh, this trash can's empty, good. And they're gone. No, I'm trying to throw this away. Please take. Okay, we took all the trash out. Left
Can there.
Yeah,
just be who's on first almost.
Put a sign on it that says I identify as trash, not a trash can. And then just see what happens.
I'm trans trash.
Yeah.
Hammer, are they really anal about the pickup as well? Like if it doesn't perfectly fit in the automated system thing, they get really, or they might not pick up the trash. Does that happen at all?
The only thing I found where they get kind of antsy is if the trash is too heavy. That's the only thing that, because the arm doesn't want to pick it up.
Right.
So they have like an extra gear kind of thing where they put it and it will pick up something heavy and they don't like using it. So they'll usually leave me a little note saying your trash can was a little heavy today. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But as long as it's at the end of the driveway and accessible from the street, you know, the claw does reach out to some extent.
Yeah.
They don't seem. I put like trash bags on top of the trash cans, and they take it. So.
The only reason I ask is I've seen a series of videos lately of like the trash guys TikToking themselves while they're working, and then they go, "Look at this jackass! Look at this guy!" And it's like, dude, do your fucking job. Okay, there's a bag above the lip of the garbage can, and the guy like refuses to pick it up. He's like, you better sort your bins. And I'm like, dude, do your fucking job. Go out there, pick up the bag, throw it in the back, then use the claw. Like,
wow.
Well, I have a question for you, Hammer. How long are you planning on sticking around? Are you just here for a little while to say howdy, or are you going to go the 2 hours?
2 hours?
Well, that's how long we're on for.
2 hours, he squeaked.
Okay.
Well,
because I'll reorder the show if you're not going to be with us for the whole time. That's why I'm asking.
I feel okay. I can handle.
All right.
I'm usually up pretty late.
All right. Well, let's get
Just
right
take
into
this
it
little
then.
green and black pill.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's see. Presenting, transition. So, woke businesses. Victoria's Secret ditches prioritizing wokeness over sexiness after sales drop.
you don't say.
It was bound to happen eventually. I mean, first of all, Victoria's Secret is not exactly like a really upscale brand to begin with. It's not well made. It's, in the hierarchy of fancy lingerie, it's I don't know. How would you
stripper quality?
Okay, well, it's not Fredericks of Hollywood. It's a little better than stripper quality, but it's not a lot better. It's pretty cheaply made. It's not good. Okay.
I've heard that strippers shop there quite a bit.
Oh, do they?
Heard that. Yeah.
Maybe only the classy
ones. I read that.
Only classy strippers do that, but yeah. So if you're going to convince people to overpay for poorly made merchandise, you better get your marketing straight. That's just sort of business 101. Yeah, the best insult that I think I heard about this was Christina Pavitsky, the comedian. She was saying that we used to have supermodels, now we have supper models. And
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like that. That's funny.
yes, supper models. I don't know if it's going to work though. I think at this point, the world is so full of other options and other things that are sexy. Can that kind of marketing still work in 2023? Is their basic problem not so much just what they're trying to do with the marketing, but just that kind of marketing isn't really all that influential anymore? Your people are just going to buy Target brand lingerie.
I think that they have to. This is the old thing in business where you decide what you want to be, and they can't decide if they want to be downscale or if they want to be midbrow. And that really is the problem with Victoria's Secret. I actually looked into that a little bit. Looked into Victoria's Secret, but looked into what was going on with them, and their problem is more the channels they market in, I think. And the other thing is they have to decide which client segment that they're going for, and then begin to build that image. No matter what, from the looks of things, I was looking at them, from the standpoint of what kind of investment they'd be, and they've got years of rebuilding to rebuild their brand, and that's assuming they can get some direction. I think that company's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think so too. There are just so many options. I mean, much like sort of Playboy as a lifestyle thing, right? I remember when I was at that age where suddenly I went from being, like it became a young man, right? Not a young boy, a young man. And the world suddenly became this very interesting thing as all these new things kind of opened up to me. And, I still remember like the first time I ever, had like a girlfriend to buy lingerie for. It's like, this is really exciting. My whole life is so much better than it was before. This is great. I love
Things
this.
men tell themselves.
Yeah.
Yes,
And, I remember I was actually, I always dressed a little better than I probably should. I was at Macy's and I think I was 18 years old. And this woman came up to me and she said, we're going to do a lingerie show for the gentleman. And, if you want to buy something for your wife or girlfriend, you should come on by. And I'm like, man,
What about for me?
this is just so much better than last year. It's just that whole sort of thing. And it has a lot of significance when I think about sort of the trajectory of my life, that sort of coming of age kind of thing. It saddens me to see Victoria's Secret screw up, just for sentimental reasons. I mean, not so much buying the stock, but I remember when it kind of used to be a thing. And it I don't know. I guess I just don't like change. And I don't like somebody taking a brand that sort of kind of works and just dumping it down the toilet for no reason other than to score woke points. It's so dumb.
Yep.
Then you have places like Amazon who's just going to do it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other smaller companies. I know one called Fandy that a lot of your online influencers are hawking, and it's the same cheaply made mid-tier audience stuff. It's all made in Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, China, and they don't have the pretense of, hey, we're Victoria's Secret, we have an image, we have a brand. Well, you know what? You lost that part of your advertising pretty significantly with the turn of the century. People just aren't buying your shit anymore. People aren't going into malls where a lot of your brick and mortar places are as well. So they're on the downward spiral.
Yeah.
They really need to, like you said, spend the next year or two kind of rebranding, reimaging themselves.
Chat is active.
It's going to take more than a year.
Assassin of the Gray, Raymond Lewis, Serenity is unfortunately in chat and not with us because StreamYards is a piece of crap. Joel McLaughlin, Captain Brambles, Cannibalistic Wizard, Just going through here. Hey, Addie.
Captain Brambles.
Captain Brambles.
Eddie.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but I like your name.
Nice.
There's not a name I have not heard in a long time.
That's okay. We like new people.
No, Captain Bramble's been around for a long time.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Captain
new to me.
Brambles. Well, yeah, he's OG.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, the Majestic Buffalo. Sorry, we don't need to hear that. Chink Uger has apparently announced that he's going to run for the presidency in 2024. Am I living in Bizarro world? Is this like something that's really happening?
No.
Yes.
He can't do it.
This is
But exactly,
all
he
this-
can.
No, what this is Chunk Uger just wanting to be relevant and wanting publicity. This guy is doing nothing but pulling his pants down in public for some attention. That's all. This is.
It's actually more than that, Skep. The guy.
Oh,
I mean,
he's seriously
he's a
doing
grip-
it. He's
seriously
seriously
doing it,
pursuing
but
it and going through the motions, but he has no chance.
He's even said himself he doesn't think he has a chance in hell,
Right.
but he's doing it to inspire others. And what does that mean? Well, it means
Inspire.
he's doing it. He's kind of saying the quiet part out loud in that, yes, he's doing it to inspire his pay pigs to give him more money because this is his MO when he does fundraising like this.
Yeah.
He takes the money. He says, "Oh, we're going to use this for this." And then once he gets the money and he realizes, "Oh, we can't do that," he takes the money and he puts it somewhere else. With his last campaign for some seat in California, some of that money, there was like $50,000 or something that he was like, "Oh, well, you guys gave me this money for this. Well, instead we're going to give it to lesbian basket weaving, social justice causes." And it's like, wait, what? You literally did a fundraising campaign for a political purpose and then didn't use that money for that political purpose? There's a word for that. Anybody?
Yeah. No.
It's called
Well,
graft.
okay. In
It's
your
also illegal.
okay, so functional in your part of the world, we've got I can't pronounce his name. Pierre Polygrip. What's his name?
Shemp. Polyev.
Share.
$8 million on a barn, Mr. Speaker. We just found out that the
Yep.
Prime Minister's Capital Commission spent $8 million to replace a barn at Rideau Hall. We've long said that this
So, I mean, $8 million for a barn by California terms doesn't really sound like that much, just to be fair. But I assume that's a lot of loonies, right? That's
I mean, that's the most expensive barn in history.
is it?
Not even close.
Gavin
Not even
Gavin
close, my
Newsom's
friend.
barn
Welcome
for
to
his
Texas.
but Gavin Newsom's
Welcome to
barn for his
Texas.
wife's horses is probably worth double that.
The most expensive barn was probably the $80 million barn in downtown Fort Worth that is called Billy Bob's, Texas, and that actually is a barn. It actually,
okay,
they do indoor rodeos there.
I know that it was the most expensive in Canada ever built, like ever.
Wow, that's kind of amazing. You guys need to get better barns. But I think, I don't know, to my American eyes, this almost, I mean, I like this guy, first of all. I've seen him say other things. This is the most recent thing that was in the news. But I don't think he's doing himself any favors leading with this. It's like there are 100 other things that are more important that he needs to just be on message and just hammer this guy over and over again on the key points. This just seems like a distraction, and I'm not sure tactically that this is something he should have brought up in Parliament. Just my opinion.
I mean, this is one clip. It's on his personal channel.
Yeah.
This is a campaign tool. It's a sound bite. But I mean, everybody's probably seen by now the big news that went viral of him taking I want to say CBC, but it could have been AP reporter to task while eating an apple. And
it was CBC.
the world
It was
took
CBC.
notice. It was CBC. Okay, the world took notice and went, hey, "This guy's awesome," and he's not a bloviating retard like Trump. Don't get me wrong, I love Trump, but he's well spoken. He makes these wonderful little sound bites like this that just sort of add to the foundation of the actual hard stuff that he is still attacking the opposition, Trudeau and his cabinet for. And just he really does stay on message with a lot of his key points of There's a lot of wasteful spending and all this and all that. He does have some things I don't particularly agree with, but you know what? If it's a gradual change to some semblance of sanity again, I'm all on board. And so far, nothing I've seen of this guy has made me really go. I'm still, you know, cautiously apprehensive to see what will happen. Actions speak louder than words. So when he does get into office, barring any shenanigans, I'm eagerly awaiting what he'll actually enact and do. But he says the right things, he does the right things, and he doesn't come off as the uni-party shill as the last like 3 conservative leaders have come across.
Yeah, at the very least, he's a less obvious liar than Trudeau. Because Trudeau's not even particularly good at it. I don't understand.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Trudeau doesn't care if you believe him or not. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He doesn't care. He doesn't have to.
For some reason, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Why does it not matter? I mean, you're practically live in Canada, Hammer. What do you think of this guy?
I think he's pretty sharp. I've listened to him quite a bit. And, you know, ever since Viva and what's his face tried to run for office, I can't remember the guy.
Oh,
Viva Fry and
yeah, the PCP.
French. He's French guy, right?
Yeah.
I saw
Maxime Bernier.
Bernier, yeah, Bernier. That's who. That's who it was. When I saw those two, Pierre and Maxime, go back and forth, I was like, geez, maybe I'm picking the wrong guy here, because I was all behind Maxime because I was behind Viva. I thought Viva was a very common sense YouTuber in the political Canadian field. But when I saw them go up against Pierre, Pierre was like, you guys are nothing. And he really did kind of shine in front of them. So I was like, maybe I should switch my opinion on it. It's not like I have any say. I'm American. What the fuck? You know, it's Canadian. Yeah. But it's, you know, I like his style. I like what he says. He's kind of like Trump without the baggage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we need a palate cleanser yet? I don't know if we do. Do we need a palate cleanser? No, we don't need one yet. This is fine. I thought you said we had so many tonight. I can save them for next week. I don't have to burn through all of my palate cleansers.
Your show, pal.
This is easy. Well, okay, we're gonna
even ask the question.
Okay, we're probably gonna need one.
Fuck you.
We're probably gonna need one after this. So, what do you think of this, Hammer? New York bill would require background checks to buy 3D printers. Attempts to target ghost guns. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm highly motivated by the Second Amendment, so
this will work.
I think when you turn 18, you should be handed a ghost gun.
Maybe handed a 3D
Congratulations on being an adult. Go kill somebody.
Here's our catalog. Pick one. Oh, very nice choice, sir. Happy birthday. Take care.
Still prefer the lingerie show, but sure, ghost guns. It's a good second thing.
Background checks.
Lingerie show is 21.
Printers. Yep.
No, it's 18, man.
You know, the thing is, what they will
drinking is 21. You know, the tour of the distillery, that's 21.
They will eventually want to license your access to the internet, and you will access the internet on a government, what amounts to government computer. That you are going to see a proposal for that in the next 20 years. Where they
think that they'll
attempt to limit that, and it'll be some kind of gimmick, like a hardware gimmick.
I also think that they'll probably low jack these 3D printers, and in an attempt to like be able to, just like they do with your internet activity and history, be able to know exactly what you do and when you do it.
You mean the government's going to? You mean, are you saying the government is going to keep track of everything that gets printed? Is that's the they in your sentence? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, they will.
Just making sure.
Because they have infinite resources.
That could catch a lot of people, but you're going to get the people like who know computers.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, no, we're not running Windows. Where's my Linux distro?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
You ain't following nothing I'm doing.
He's going to run this off my Raspberry Pi.
Push me back to Linux.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my computer is a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, go ahead, that.
Come get some, bro.
Yeah, really.
Oh, that reminds me. You know, I was actually using a Raspberry Pi temporarily as a DNS server. It's like while I was busy trying to solve a problem. And it's like, hey, damn it, I'm going to have to take all my DNS servers down. It's like, or do I? So I actually loaded bind like 9.18 or something on there on an Ubuntu thing on a Raspberry Pi. It's astonishing what you can do with that little $60, $90 computer. Yep. Anyway, though I digress. You know, if you make it so that these things are hard to get, it just means that people are going to break into other people's houses and start stealing these damn printers.
And they'll find ground on in the black market.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what happens when you give people incentives for things. This is another thing. Californians plead guilty in $600 million catalytic converter theft scheme.
Three members of the same California family are pleading guilty to being part of a crime ring that stole $600 million worth of catalytic converter.
$600 million.
That's a lot of
Investigators say
converters.
Tu Su Vang, his brother Andrew, and their mother, Monica Moa, were part of a national network of thieves, dealers, and processors who provided the stolen anti-smog devices to a metal refinery. 18 more people in California and New Jersey are also being charged. California accounts for 37% of catalytic converter theft claims.
Yeah, they stole them in California and then shipped the stolen catalytic converters to New Jersey.
These are new, or this is they diverted a shipment of catalytic converters. Is that what we understand here?
I thought it was actually that
Cut them off the cars.
that they cut them off the cars, because that's a very common thing, because they do it just for the metal recycling.
Right.
You know, if you send somebody a part, that might have like a number or something on it. What you really want to do is just get all that delicious platinum out of them.
Yeah, right.
Well, these people who are charged, they're probably not the ones stealing them. They're the ones who are incentivizing the let's say the lesser, more unfortunate souls, you know, drug addicts, homeless, people desperate for cash, to go out, steal them, and then sell them to them, who then bundle them all together and have a contact in New Jersey who breaks them down, files off the serial numbers, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's a whole process, but I kind of wonder if it's probably a little bit of both. Like if they're having a bunch of people go out and steal them, as well as they intercept the shipment here, rob a store there, you know.
Yeah.
You were saying that there's like some good rare earth metals that they can melt them
Platinum.
down, but they're also part of the what do you the climate
It's
change
not really rare.
carbon
earths that you
taxing
get out of
scheme.
that.
But it is a precious metal. So
Yeah.
Platinum is what they're going after. There's no yttrium.
platinum is a catalyst in this process. It's not consumed in any way. Its presence just needs to be there. So platinum plus heat equals, you know, you take dangerous, nitrous compounds and convert them into slightly less dangerous nitrous compounds. That's really all it does. It's not even a particularly complicated thing, but platinum is extremely valuable. And if all you have to do is just jack somebody's car up, steal their catalytic converter, and then take it and sell it for scrap, what do you care if they end up having to pay $1,000 to repair that thing? It's a huge amount of expense to every single person who loses their catalytic converter.
My model car is getting hit really hard. If you go out to the Z06 forums, it's all over the place because my exhaust not only has platinum in it, but the entire exhaust is made out of titanium.
Nice.
So, you know, they actually get more money from the titanium than the platinum.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've been talking about bad business. This was in the news. Netflix is opening physical stores, and Blockbuster has the perfect reaction. Why? Why, Netflix? Why are you opening physical stores? What in the hell has gotten into you? Do I need to go to Los Gatos and press my nose against the glass of your thing and just pound on the door and just wait till somebody comes out to talk to me about how stupid this is? This is not good.
Is it advertising? It's just a very expensive,
No,
whatchamacallit?
they're trying to diversify
Billboard?
they're not. They're. I doubt that this is going to be a blockbuster video type thing. What I
Yeah.
think this is actually going to be is them trying to diversify, get you in there with Netflix, and sell you other stuff. That's what I would do
Okay.
if I were them.
Here's what the article says. All jokes aside, it doesn't look like the upcoming physical locations will be selling DVDs. Instead, a new Bloomberg report says that the tentatively titled Netflix House will be a place fans can play, shop, and eat. Okay.
First of all,
They're providing
you wanna call
community
the
for all the
store
people.
Netflix and chill.
No, but the people who, all the people who were antisocial, right? Introverts who just thrive on Netflix. Like, I don't want to go to a theater. I just want to stay home. Now you're going to create some place and expect them to go outside. They don't want to do that. You're marketing to introverts. Why do you think they want to go to a place and play, shop, and eat? Sorry, Functional. I mean to step on you there.
This is the
It's okay, I have to pull
Netflix.
my notes.
There's a Netflix version of Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. And there actually has been a bit of a callback to brick and mortar locations that or services like Redbox where physical media is obtained. There has been a bit of a movement online for that stuff to happen. Now, I mean, it is the internet, so let's take it with a grain of salt and say half of those people that were saying, "Oh yeah, I'd love a new," they would actually go to those places. I still don't think that that's going to be enough to make this a viable thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, so here,
who
Functional,
knows?
you don't want a piece of this? The venues will consist of retail, dining, and live entertainment experiences, with 2 locations opening in 2 unannounced cities in 2025. According to Simon, Netflix House will have various seasonal installations with everything from ticketed shows inspired by its biggest series and restaurants featuring food from unscripted shows. So we might, it's like, okay, this sounds like a great way to lose a lot of money. I think that there's a lot of danger in this move, Skep.
Yeah, I was, Netflix house to open, new destinations where fans can immerse themselves in the worlds of their favorite TV shows and all that jazz. And then shop for clothing, eat themed food, and even try Squid Game object course. I think the problem here is that people have gotten used to playing their games at home. And they won't go to an arcade anymore. And that's basically what they're trying to do, is do an arcade eating thing, trying to diversify into their entertainment space. And I agree with you. I think that this is extremely risky.
Yeah.
Very high beta.
I mean, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they're geniuses, right? So I just think saying, this, it's risky.
When are they going to show that?
Yeah, it's very risky.
When are we going to see the genius?
Well, the thing about genius is it's kind of hard to tell in the moment whether an idea is a good one or not. I mean, I don't want to see them fail. It won't make me happy to see them fail. In fact, if anything, I'm concerned on their behalf at how stupid this sounds.
Yeah,
They have the money.
Yeah, I was going to say
They're
sitting
financial
on
juggernaut.
They
throw
sitting
money
on a
around.
pile of cash.
Yeah, they throw money around like it's going out of style, and that's the Homer Simpson shotgun approach, makeup shotgun approach of just like shoot it all everywhere, and some of it will stick. One Piece, Stranger Things, a lot of Netflix originals have been massively successful, generating them a whole bunch more cash to keep doing. But obviously, there has been things. Some things have been in the news, like Cuties and whatever. I mean, and I said this months ago, or maybe last year or something, where I was like, I like that approach because it's basically giving arts and entertainment what it needs, and that's just capital to make sure that those 90% of art and entertainment that's out there that has been for all of human history shit and will continue to be shit. But it'll also allow us to get that 10%, 5% of that genius art and entertainment that we love. And I mean, okay, I'm okay with that. I wish they would be a little bit more discerning when it came to things like Cuties that kind of really stepped over the line in some respects. and most people know what I'm talking about when I say that. But if they put out like 50 brand new shows a year and 40 of them fail, but those 10 or even 5 still take off, they're still making money hand over fist. So, I mean, okay.
I'm still trying to parse this sentence from chat. Netflix most likely going to set their makeup shotgun on horror. It's like,
Wait, what?
Is that a method for applying makeup? Wait,
I want some.
just dial that
Only
baby up
assuming
to
it comes
horror.
on.
Yeah, okay.
Wait.
It's not a stripper pole, Skep. It's a vertical support structure for the.
It's an exercise ball.
It's fine. Let's see. This kind of screws up the flow of the show, but Skep, you'll love this. This is a great thing just for you if it ever loads. Brazil's Supreme Court approves expropriating socially inappropriate land.
Oh God!
Yeah, if you're not using your land correctly, the government can just take it. Just take it.
See that your land is not serving the people, comrade.
Those constitutional protections against illegal takings sound pretty important right now.
Yeah.
Don't they? Damn.
Yeah.
They have no Third Amendment.
The union is responsible for expropriating for social interest for the purpose of agrarian reform rural property that is not fulfilling its social function through prior and fair compensation in agrarian debt securities with a clause preventing the real value, blah, 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 blah. They're going to take your shit. That's all that translates
Yes,
to.
I will buy Mar-a-Lago for $18
Fifth
million.
Amendment, not
But that's
third.
okay. Bolsonaro was like practically Trump, so yeah.
Balls and
There are
arrows?
too many places in South America that seem to just have these weird elections where I guess because of term limits or something, they'll get somebody in who's sort of right wing, and then they'll be there for 4 to 8 years, and then they'll have somebody who's just massively left wing, and they'll just oscillate back and forth between Pinochet and Che Guevara just like every so many years. Don't those people just get tired of the whiplash?
Not really. Evidently not, because they keep voting it. They're the political passions down there. We seem rather bloodless compared to what goes on down there. They expect people to get killed every election. It's just a different point of view, and it's as they get more prosperity, as life becomes easier for a larger section of the population, as the middle class begins to have something to protect, you'll see some damping, I think, in those extremes. And it just takes time and accumulation of national wealth, which they will over time.
Yeah. Well, I have another section here which I just have. What did you expect would happen? Elon Musk is considering taking X out of Europe amid EU compliance investigation.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
should.
Why wouldn't he?
He should.
If you're going to make it impossible for him to do business there, why would he do business there?
Yeah, and then watch what happens. That's a great chess move for him. He just says, "Fine, I'll pull out."
Yeah.
Watch the shrieks that come up from the continent. They can't get their Twitter.
It's like he's bluff proof. These people try to bluff with him, whether it be other corporations or government entities, and he's just like, okay, I'll play your game. Show me your hand.
Yeah.
He's good at thinking ahead.
He comes out on top every time.
That's the thing. He doesn't. He's made a number of mistakes, but he budgets that in. He knows that he's going to make mistakes. He has launch failures from time to time. They learn from
I don't
that.
mean about products or services. I mean about his political dealings with other entities. He always comes out on top. Like
Yeah, well, what he knows is that if you look at history and you look at successful people and the things successful people do, it's much more important to be decisive than it is to strive to be right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Him making a mistake is just, okay, well, I'll factor that into my next decision. It's not a problem for him. He thinks like an engineer. engineers understand how mistakes are made and they know how to incorporate them into the decision-making process.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody knew how to make a Pew matrix, this world would be a much better place. But that ain't going to happen because reasons.
He just
also
can't
be
be
trained in Gantt charts.
he just can't be pushed around. That's what I admire most about him. He had that interview with that guy who said, you know, your Twitter is going to cost you money. He says, so be it. I'll do it anyway. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just like that
right.
whole thing. And he even quoted Princess Bride. I was like, my kind of guy. A guy is quoting movies to justify his decisions. Offer me power. Offer me money. I don't care. You know, it's just very much. It's very much and then he seems to apply that to everything. Even with Twitter. Twitter's a bad decision. It cost him $44 billion. It should never have cost him that much money. It was a bad decision. But even his bad decisions come out on top.
He's just starting his charitable works early. That's all. You know, when you've got that kind of money, that kind of FU money, you know, at a certain point, you just have to use it to do things that you think are important. And buying Twitter was one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have this discussion with people. I know I have a number of friends who will not use Twitter because he's evil and they just won't. And I came so close. I have to remind myself that I have rules. There's no upside to me arguing with my friends. Why? You know, people who I actually like and care about in real life. What difference does it make if I am right about an argument about whether Twitter is bad or not? Because the question I could ask is, okay, explain to me why Facebook is good and Twitter is bad. And in very concrete terms, give me an example. You're going to be really hard pressed to come up with that. But what's the upside? I end up losing all my friends because I argue about that stuff. It's like, no, there's just things I just won't argue about. I'm not going to argue about religion, and I'm not going to argue about shit like this that doesn't particularly matter with my friends. Now, in the big scheme of things where we're talking about policy, right? We're having a discussion. It's a different thing. I'll happily talk about it all we want here on the air. That's a thing. Did you, just as an aside, did you lose any friends over the whole COVID thing? Not from COVID, but because of COVID? Because I came awfully close. I had to really walk the line because a number of people I know got very worked up over it. This question is for Hammer. I mean, did you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you lose any friends over COVID stuff?
No, I only have a couple of friends, people that I consider friends. A lot of acquaintances, but I only have a couple of friends, and they're both very much on the left.
Yeah.
And I'm very much not. But we don't. I learned something from Ben Shapiro. He says if you are going to argue with somebody, make sure it's an argument worth having first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because he talks to people who say, well, how am I to convince this person on the left to see things on the right? And he says, first you have to determine whether or not they can be moved. If they can't be moved, there's no reason to have the discussion. And neither of my friends are going to be moved. So we just don't talk about it. And they don't live anywhere near me. I'm in Pennsylvania, one's in Virginia, one's in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I see them every couple of days. I haven't seen one of them for 2 years. So we're still best friends. We still talk on the phone, but we don't talk politics. So COVID never really became anything because the left believes what the left believes and the right believes what the right believes. And you just have to accept that and say, well, I know you're on the left and you believe this, so I'm not going to talk to you about it because I'm not going to change your mind.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be fair and open-minded about stuff, and I try religiously to admit if I'm wrong about something. Like, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Okay? Mm-hmm. I think I actually tend to not trust people who can't admit that they're wrong about stuff. And by just staying calm and not trying to beat my friends up and, with facts and logic, I actually had somebody recently, one of my friends, ask me, do you think I should get the COVID booster? And I responded, you should do exactly what your local health officials and the CDC recommend, and that's the official position of Minions of the Zoo. Anyway, moving on to the next topic.
Just quickly before I know he's watching.
It's okay. Just don't get us canceled, man.
Mr. Well, it might.
No, but I thought it was interesting
the
they
government's
asked
watching
me.
I mean, first it was the FBI, now it's the CRA.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I had a little stint trouble with the FBI in the 90s for hacking their system. But since Mr. Musk, I know you're watching the show. Can I have my Twitter account back?
He cares deeply about what happens here tonight.
I got dogpiled by a bunch of Ibram X Kendi fanatics for taking him to task on Twitter 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and I haven't had my account back since. And then I had two accounts, one for personal stuff and one for business stuff. So my own personal vocational stuff as well as streaming stuff. So all business stuff would be on that side. But once they found that my second account and my personal account, because the personal account got banned, were the same person, then they said, oh, well, now you've broken an additional part of our rule in trying to circumvent your ban. And it's like, no, one's a professional, one's a personal account. That's a lot of people do that. I wasn't circumventing anything. And they're just like, yeah, fuck you. Okay, fine. I don't have to use your platform.
Yeah, you don't have to. I actually signed up for an Instagram thing just because I was trying to get some pictures of Otter841. That's the only reason I signed up for it after all these years. I had it for about 5 minutes before they kicked me off because they claimed that I wasn't a real person. It's like, okay, well, that's interesting. Apparently, I don't exist as far as Instagram's concerned. Good job, Instagram. Skep, you know that soldier who did some bad things with CP and some other stuff and deserted to South Korea? It turns out South Korea doesn't want him. I'm sorry, North Korea. Have we lost Skep?
Was that the military guy?
Yeah, it's the military guy.
I didn't know.
Oh, Skep is muted. He must. Oh, he had to go deal with dogs.
All right,
yeah,
I'm back. All right.
Yeah, it turns out that this fine, outstanding American soldier, the one who was caught with the CP who fled to North Korea, that the North Koreans don't want him. They're giving him back to us.
Yeah. Fuck you for Christmas, pal. You're going to Leavenworth. You'll be spending the rest of your life there. Enjoy.
You know, the food will probably be better than North Korea, but that's not saying a lot.
More plentiful.
And nothing of value was lost.
Nothing of
It's
value
the
was
same
lost.
green bologna sandwich. The green bologna is famous at Leavenworth Prison, by the way. And you get the green bologna sandwich for lunch every single day.
Is that like punishment loaf, basically?
No, it's actually a decent sandwich. They give you, but that's the sandwich that you get. There's no other sandwich.
So what is the green bologna made of?
It just has a greenish cast to it. It's actually nothing wrong with it. But, people claim it's rotten, and it's not.
Enjoy your government bologna. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and with government cheese on it, that is for what you get for lunch. And,
let's see. I don't know.
Person.
I don't know if I want to talk about this next thing. Do we want to talk about it? Okay, we'll talk about it just briefly. San Francisco restaurateurs say Valencia Street will die if controversial bike lane is not revised. Essentially, they put a bike lane right up the middle of Valencia Street, and it has yeeted so many parking spots that people who are trying to go to the restaurants just call them on their cell phones and say, "There's nowhere for us to park. We cannot make our reservation. Because there is no place for us to leave our automobile." It is so screwed up. It is so screwed up. And the people in San Francisco are trying to figure out how to sort of fix this situation.
What's the fecal content of Valencia Street?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's actually...
Looking at the Poo map, it looks saturated.
Yeah. Well, actually not all of San Francisco is covered with homeless tents.
I know. It's just a joke.
But even the neighborhoods that aren't suffering from having a homeless encampment outside their door, because of the traffic policies in San Francisco, they're like, hey, why don't we make it a one-way street? Why don't we do this? It's like, they literally restructured this is why I almost thought it might be good to get Jack Gunsky on, but they essentially put a bike lane right up the center of the street, not on the side, right up the center of it. Yeah.
In the middle of the street. Wow.
Yeah, look at this this bike lane that they have here. It's like right in the middle of the street.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. That looks great. I wonder why traffic's all screwed up. Oh, I don't know. Probably because you took a major street in San Francisco and completely screwed it. Yeah.
And I don't know what San Fran's history is with bike lanes, but here in the Great White North in the capital of Ontario, in Toronto, we dabbled with increasing the availability of bike lanes in the late 90s, early aughts. It turned out to fuck everything, and they canceled projects. They tore up a whole bunch of them, and then it's only been in the last like 5 or 6 years that they've started up that shit again, not learning from the fact that it failed so miserably and was such an exorbitant waste of money to not only build these but then tear them down so that we can do it again.
Yeah. One of the restaurants on this street, it's a high-end restaurant, claims that once this change was made to the street, they lost 50% of their business. 50%.
That's
Wow.
enough to make a difference.
What a great business culture they have in San Francisco. That sounds fantastic.
They take care of their merchants, don't they?
Yeah.
We generally know how tenuous operating a restaurant is to begin with. To lose 50% of your business.
No, San Francisco's not that competitive in the restaurant business, is it?
Well, I'm not done making fun of San Francisco, but let's talk about something lighter for a bit. You guys remember the Whole Earth catalog, right? I mean,
yes.
maybe Functional doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that Hammer and Skep both remember it. No?
Is it like the Sears catalog?
No, the Whole Earth catalog. Okay, Skep, tell Functional what the Whole Earth catalog is. Just give him the elevator statement.
The Whole Earth catalog was an alternative goods and things hippies might need, and it was things for your head. You could order water pipes, you could order tents, you could order all kinds of things.
All kinds of things, like a solar oven for you.
Yeah,
for you.
interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff
long
way
before
its
Burning
time.
Man and all this other crap, they had the Whole Earth catalog, which just had all the random shit that we now buy off the internet. Because now we have the internet, and people say, well, what did they do before the internet? Well, you would use a catalog, and that catalog would contain lots and lots of SKUs for all kinds of things that you may or may not really need. And the entire collection, the entire collection of the Whole Earth catalog is now available online. Somebody's finally put them up there, being hosted by the Internet Archive. So if you want to sort of see how hippies of yore made their own Dr. Bronner's soap from hemp oil, this is your opportunity. This is actually kind of cool.
Don't knock the Dr. Bronner's, okay?
Hey, I use Dr. Bronner's.
Me too.
I used it today. But aside from the Whole Earth catalog, another catalog of merit, which I wanted to point out, is the J.C. Whitney catalog, which is where you used to get all the shit for your car. And it was around for like 100 years. 100 years. If you had like a Beetle and you wanted to make it not overheat quite so readily, you wanted to get that kit that made it vent better, J.C. Whitney. I had a car that had a 390 horsepower 455 engine, was designed to run on helicopter fuel, pretty much 96 octane. And if you ran it on anything less than that, it just built up a bunch of carbon. I bought a water injector for that thing and retrofitted it. So under load, it would actually just spray a little bit of water into the intake manifold to retard the timing on it. And that's how I managed to drive my car not on helicopter fuel, but on sad 91 octane. The J.C. Whitney catalog, before the internet, we actually managed to do shit just fine. And we did it with things like the Whole Earth catalog and J.C. Whitney. And, the quality of life was not that bad. I love the internet. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that I can go on Amazon and just buy whatever I want. And it'll show up typically the next day. Yeah, or maybe even before 7 a.m. That's how I get my Dr. Bronner soap. I get it from Amazon. I mean, I love the internet and stuff, but these catalogs existed for like 100 years. And maybe you hadn't even heard of it. But this used to be like a thing that my friends and I would sort of page through, and we'd figure out which things we wanted to put on each of our respective cars. Go ahead, Skep.
Yeah. Right, I was going to say that, and getting the latest version of the Whole Earth catalog was a big deal.
Yeah,
and having the latest version, not everybody had that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a big deal. You want to do some weird hippie shit in the woods and filter your water. Whole Earth Catalog.
Whole Earth Catalog's your bud. Yeah.
Whole Earth Catalog is your friend. Man, catalogs used to be just fine. All right, anyway, I just somehow thought that maybe that might be something worth mentioning as a mid-century thing.
Great fun.
What is the next thing? Oh, the next thing is incredibly depressing. Okay, we need a palate cleanser. Palate cleanser. Okay, this is a good palate cleanser. So KFC's marketing confuses me. So okay, I'm gonna let this thing just sort of speak for itself.
Not you eating on your daddy's white carpet.
I have no idea what she just said. I just want to point that out.
What?
Okay, here, I'm going to play it again for you.
Something about her daddy's white carpet.
Not you eating on your daddy's white carpet.
Huh?
Eating out your daddy's white carpet?
Not
When you
to
like me,
eating-
you can do that.
Okay, I understood him.
No, I'd never do that. But anyway, these spicy, marinated, hand-breaded, new KFC hot and spicy wings. They legendary.
Man, cut the bull joke and give me one of the wings.
Get 8 of KFC's new hot and spicy wings for only $4.99.
Okay, I feel like I'm watching so many cliches just sort of strung together.
That's racist.
That is breathtaking.
Okay, I mean, Deion Sanders seems like a very nice guy, okay? I mean, he seems very presentable. He seems like a very nice guy, and I'm
nice
sure people
family.
who like the sports ball think he's a good dude. But I think this ad is kind of embarrassing. This is like way too much street, I think. Unless it's just
They
pandering
may
to a
be going
market
for
I don't
their-
understand.
Yeah, they're just going for their market. I think they're actually just advertising to their market area.
It's faux 99.
Foe.
Yeah, just like Hillary when she was like, I got hot sauce in my purse, y'all.
I get tired. I feel tired.
I have the vapors.
Yeah, it's a bit much, I think.
It's no Jones barbecue and foot massage.
Just a bit.
Okay, Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage was pretty epic.
And it exists.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't. It's fake.
No, it exists.
Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage is decidedly fake, my friend. It is not a real ad.
How does
break
this
it to you.
ad get past the censors and the woke left? I mean, you might as well be. I probably shouldn't say.
That was from
Hammer-
2000. That was from 2009. That Jones Good Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage. I thought that was really old. April 16th, 2009.
Well, it reminded me of an episode of News Radio, and I'm probably going to get us copy struck. Hammer, pretend you don't know me.
I don't know.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Bill McNeil here. What's up, y'all? Bill McNeil saying there's a party all up in here and you need to get with the flow. Oh, yeah, Rocket Fuel Malt Liquor's got the heavyweight power. Whether you got the EOTs to rip it
Candy
up to some
Alexander's
factory
great.
beats, or just chill with the honeys. So get on the rocket and see the stars. Rocket Fuel Malt Liquor. Damn!
Okay. Okay. First of all, God, I miss Phil Hartman.
Yes. How what genius he was. I don't use the G word much, but Hartman was as good as they get.
I was actually listening to part one of a 4-hour long commemoration of Phil Hartman by people who were in the groundlings with him on the way here to set up the show. That's what I was actually listening to. So I'm kind of a Phil Hartman super fan, and I love all 4 seasons of News Radio. I always pretend the last one doesn't exist because Phil wasn't in it. But be as it may, this is the kind of sort of pandering that faux 99 thing was like, oh, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. And it's not that I have a problem with it, but it just like, I kind of feel embarrassed for KFC just because it seems like
It's so anti-intellectual.
it seems like it's just
advertising
pandering.
blackface.
It's just pandering, and it's almost like a blaxploitation movie. It's
Yes,
like
yes.
I just
Action
feel kind of
Jackson
weird looking at
hawking
it.
Wings.
Yeah, but and that
Love
was
me
gonna
some
be
Pam
my
Grier, by
point
the
to
way, but that's
Hammer's comment is how this gets past, the woke, because I guarantee you, nary a white person was found on the entire advertising front of this. Everyone from the script writers to the lowly camera operators to the grips who were working on set that day. It was pure all, how can I put this gently? All minorities, all of the same homogeneity and
Ebonic harmony.
That sound guy might have been like an old German guy, and he was just going with the flow. He's like, I'm only following orders. It's a very German thing to do.
I mean, but like, who's going to turn around and be like, "Yo, Deion Sanders and your family, you're racist. You're pandering to black people." Motherfucker, what?
Well, again, he seems like a nice guy, but I think the faux 99 at the end was pushing it a little bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faux 99.
And by the way, this isn't just one ad. This is a whole ad campaign. There are several ads that are like this. This is just one that I picked for your viewing pleasure. This is a whole campaign where they do this crap. Whatever. I hope you saw a lot of chicken. Have a good time. All right, so let's see. What is... Okay, so in Halloween news, hopefully Serenity's still in the audience because she'll like this story a lot. Groundskeeper mowed around dead man's body thinking it was Halloween prop, family claims.
Oh, wow.
A groundskeeper mowed around a dead man's body next to an abandoned house thinking he was a Halloween prop, according to the victim's loved ones. Robert Owens, 34, was reported last seen by family on October 8th, and it's totally not funny that this guy's dead, but it's hilarious. 2 days before authorities found him face down and half naked in the yard next to China Grove, North Carolina house that had apparently been empty for a long time. Yeah. I'm just gonna mow around that. That'll be just fine. I'm sorry. I just like that headline. I'm sorry this guy's dead, but we're off to a good Halloween, don't you think? Mm-hmm. The run up to Halloween is going great.
Was it foul play or did he just?
Apparently he let's see, what was it? Called his death suspicious and a GoFundMe page for funeral expenses, saying his passing has left the family with many questions. He was stripped of his clothes and belongings, leaving him in his underwear and socks for over 24 hours face down in the yard next to a house. Yeah. Damn. I mean, that sounds plenty suspicious to me. I don't think we really know what happened to this poor guy. Math. Just that I think that he's a really conscientious groundskeeper because a lot of times gardeners just go and they screw things up because they don't follow instructions. Here was a guy that thought they were getting ready for Halloween and he did the right thing and mowed around that guy. Didn't mess it up. I wish I could get my gardener to have that level of attention to detail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have no problem with his behavior at all.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I mean, could a reasonable person think the same thing as that gardener? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. What are we going to talk about here?
I can understand why it would be a problem then, because obviously that's at the very least, maybe not the crime scene, but it is the dumping scene, and there might have been evidence that. But I mean, how is he to know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know how much I despise Oakland. I mean, I used to love Oakland, but it's broken my heart because it's turned into such a cesspool. And Skep used to live there. Skep used to love Oakland
too. Yeah, I used to love.
So screw Oakland. But here's a thing that happened to an Oakland resident. Car stolen, but still paying the loan. Oakland resident looks to leave city. So this woman had her car stolen. The police found it a day later, and it had been torched. Because, why not? There's no downside to bad behavior. Let's just do this.
But she had insurance, so everything was okay.
You would think that she has insurance, but she moved from Florida to Oakland, and for reasons which I can only speculate about, she neglected to notify her insurance company that she'd gone from Florida to the hellscape that is Oakland with her car. And so the insurance company said, your car is not covered by us anymore because you neglected to update your policy information. So she's stuck making payments on this car, even though it's been totaled and she can't drive it, and is kind of wondering why she should be stuck with the bill for this thing. Skep, why should she be stuck for the bill for this thing?
She's the negligent one.
Well, I mean,
She
if not
is the
her, who?
negligent one.
Who if not her?
Well, here's the problem. When an insurance company has to enforce rules, and the way that it gets its clientele to obey the rules is it won't pay claims unless you follow the rules. And one of the rules is when you move, you have to call your insurance company and say, hey, I've moved to a new thing, update my policy. You must do that. Anyone with an auto policy should know this. I mean, it's as basic gets in the insurance business. So she, in failing to do that, she has to be, if the company said, oh, that's okay, what would happen is that rule would never be enforced, or would only be enforced as an afterthought. Not only that, it would mean additional expense for the insurance company. That's why the insurance company pushes hard on this and pushes back hard on this, saying, no, we won't pay that because she was negligent. She abused the agreement that we had, an agreement she understood. She failed to abide by that, therefore the agreement is broken. And in business law, that's the way that works.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's SOL. She's
Yeah,
shit out of luck.
She neglected to update that, either because she was careless, in which case it's her fault, or because she knew that she would be paying a much higher premium by giving a zip code in Oakland as opposed to her zip code in Florida.
I was giving her completely the benefit.
Yeah. So we're not speculating about that, but regardless of what happened, there's no way in which this is not her responsibility. Now, again, I don't want to make it sound like we're blaming her for the crime that happened to her, because Oakland sucks, and she deserves better. But at the same time, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and who but her should end up owning this debt? Not the bank. Why would the bank cover it? This whole attitude that like the bank has lots of money, they should just let her off, because that's the thing that banks do. They just give people money because they feel bad for them. That's the thing that banks do, right?
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's print more in the back.
Yeah. Just get it from the Federal Reserve. It's all funny money anyway. Oh wait, now I should not have said that, because I don't even want to look at chat now.
Actually not untrue.
Okay.
It's not completely untrue.
All right, so I'm going to stop making fun of this poor woman.
Yeah, I feel bad for her, but she...
Let's see. So your prime minister, Functional, pledged $90 million to fight climate change and vaccine equity in the Caribbean. How does this make you feel? Maybe this is why they're auditing you, because they need more money to pay for this stuff. Have you thought of that?
Well, I don't print the money. I just use the money. Yeah, it's so weird that, you know, we in the West are paying for things like gender studies in India and vaccine and climate change equity in the Caribbean. Like, oh, fuck off. You literally have people starving and dying on your streets in your own fucking backyard. Take care of some of that. Do you know how much 90 million could go towards building
barns?
New
You could build barns.
Another 11 barns or
15.
15?
Yeah. 6 million each, isn't it? Or was it 8 million?
8 million.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was 6 million. Never mind. Carry on.
These are big beefy barns, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, you know, like 90 million could open up 2 new not what do you call them, the places, domestic shelters or something, you know, something that would actually do good for your own people, not this shit.
Well, okay, maybe he's doing good for somebody who isn't your people, though. Maybe it's a cui bono thing. Who is it that you think benefits from this, Functional? Do you think any of this money finds its way back into his campaign coffers via some mechanism? Oh, wait, no, I don't want to get you in trouble. Don't answer that question.
Almost entirely. And I'm not going to shut up about this, because the guy has been caught laundering money time and time and time and time again. And people keep voting for him time and time and time again. Why? Because he owns all the media. The media are all Canadian media is at the behest of the Canadian government, because the Canadian government pays them. And Why is it that Bill C-11 was such an issue? Because now they've completely censored all opposition online. They now control anything and everything you want to see and hear in Canada.
The power to tax is the power to destroy. That's part of the separation of church and state stuff in the United States. If you can tax something, you can destroy it. Yeah.
And I need to build a wall and put Trudeau in front of that in Minecraft. And
just leave a door for the Swayze Express. That's the important thing. It's a Trailer Park Boys reference. Sorry. I always just assume everybody from Canada's watched the Trailer Park Boys.
No.
No?
Well, I mean, I'm an anomaly.
Okay. I apologize. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we all know Trudeau sucks.
Like my American friends give me shit for sounding too Canadian. My Canadian friends say, you sound like you're from fucking Washington or something. It's like, why? Because I don't say A or O?
Yeah. Well,
I spell things correctly. It's not couleur, it's color.
Yes.
We're not French.
I have another thing to make fun of California here. Actually, I've got two more things to make fun of California. Let's see. Who should I address this to? Remember eggs, Hammer? How eggs were bad for you, and then they became good for you, and they just can't seem to make up their mind?
Yeah, they're bad for you, then they're good for you, then they're bad for you, now they're good for you again.
Okay. So
alcohol, too.
Once hailed as a drought fix, California moves to restrict synthetic turf over health concerns. So because of the droughts that we keep having every few years, it's just we go from it's always feast or famine when it comes to water in California. They've been basically paying people to take their lawns out and replace them with either like xeriscaping, native plants, or putting down AstroTurf. They will literally pay you to take your lawn out, put in AstroTurf. Well, they realized that while they're busy Prop 65ing everything about how every chemical is going to kill us, they're now worried about forever plastics. And it turns out that all of this not lawn that they've been putting down has been leaking little bits of plastic and plastic compounds like PBAs into the water table.
Yay.
Oh, jeez.
Man, I can't even keep up.
Polyphenols are, they're just so great.
I just can't even keep up with the rate of change, because it's just like the egg thing. It's like, okay, am I supposed to eat eggs or not? Tell me.
Yes, eggs are a wonder food.
Yeah, if you were going to homestead something and you were going to be out in the middle of nowhere and you wanted to turn vegetable matter into protein, chickens are a pretty damn good way to do it. Eggs are great.
Oh, yeah. So is chicken.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, as long as the old ones, you have a bottle of wine to soak them in. That's the French know a thing or two about what to do to an old rooster. Anyway, yeah, absolutely.
That's what that is. Yeah, that was.
The deal with eggs is we didn't really know that much. We had eggs and we said, ooh, it has cholesterol and cholesterol is bad. And then we said, oh, wait a minute, it has more than one kind of cholesterol. And this one's good and that one's bad. So as we learned, eggs became good and bad as you went along.
Yeah.
Well, brain tissue is largely full of cholesterol. So
eggs are energy dense. So they're actually the reason now is why they're good.
Yeah. I mean, they're not absolutely complete protein. You do need more than just eggs, but it's a pretty good start to having a balanced diet. But
and like you said, it's a good start when you're off the grid or want to be a little bit more self-sufficient. It's a great start to get a couple chickens, have them start producing eggs, and yeah.
But I just love the fact that these water fascists are basically tripping over their own arguments now. Essentially, what do? It's like, oh yeah, that version of me from 5 years ago, he was a piece of shit trying to put forever chemicals into all your kids.
I'm smarter now.
Yeah. But the new and improved version of me understands how important microplastics are. Whatever. California's dumb. All right. Let's see. Where do we want to go?
Actual environmental damage as opposed to climate change.
Do we want to talk about the border? The border depresses me. I don't know if I want to talk about the border.
Nah.
Fuck the border.
Fuck the border.
Yes.
Let's talk about the thing that's on the thumbnail for this show. How about that?
Okay.
Microsoft repositions 7 terabyte Project Silica glass media as a cloud storage solution. So imagine, if you will, instead of rotating media, you want deep storage for data. you essentially do the same kind of thing that you would do with a Laserdisc. You have a 3D media, you're able to create changes in this with a laser and encode data on it. So that little piece of glass that person's holding in the picture has 7 terabytes of data encoded on it. And what's beautiful about this is it doesn't care about, EMF. It doesn't care about pole shifts. It doesn't care about all of this sort of stuff. Yeah. It's largely impervious to water. Glass does not really dissolve all that readily in water, especially if you pay attention to what kind of glass you use, like borosilicate stuff.
Silicon dioxide is almost not soluble at all.
Almost not soluble, yes. So these things could hold 7 terabytes of data for 10,000 years because they're just not reactive. I think this is kind of a great technology. It's not that dissimilar to old discussions of holographic storage and other types of things that we used to have. Yeah. It's just that our ability to encode data and do error correction and all that sort of stuff is just much better. Our control of lasers is much better. Our optical systems are better. So we can get the density into something that's almost like science fiction. I mean, this is like Star Trek levels of data storage.
Well, I was just about to say that when you first showed me this article, I thought the first thing that came to mind was isolinear chips from TNG. Like, this is a couple steps away. Give this technology another 10 years to grow. That 7 terabyte glass will have increased to like 700 terabytes. And wow, that's a huge. I mean, this is huge. I love this stuff because it's a couple steps away from being accessible to the home. With how fast this stuff tends to move, like pretty soon you're going to get a glass drive as a long-term storage drive for your home PC. No, obviously not a system drive or anything like that, but just something, because I mean, even in my PC now, I have 2 internal and many external drives that are just for storage. I don't play anything off of them. If I need to pull some media from it, I pull it, I put it on my D drive, and I watch it from there. This is great.
Okay, but
I can't wait to be like data and pulling out the chips and putting them back in.
So here's the thing that's different though. When you run a mass storage system or an archive of any sort, you have this responsibility of stewardship. Okay, so like at NASA, they have space probe data going back for decades, right? Yes. And the telemetry from a space probe is a thing that you can never, ever, ever reproduce because you don't have a time machine and you can't go back and figure out what that thing observed at that particular point in time. So, yeah, the technology gets better and better, but every time you upgrade to a new type of technology, you have to essentially take all of this old data, figure out which part of it's important, and then move it into the new kind of data. Because you know what? The oxide falls off of tapes. Hard drives fall apart. Lots of things fail. This is a technology that's like a forever deep archive. We could use this forever because it doesn't degrade. And that fundamentally changes the job of people who are archivists for important data. Because there is data that you absolutely cannot lose. And managing it as it goes through the generations of storage technology is a pain in the ass. So to people who do that kind of work, this is kind of a huge thing. This is the kind of thing that people have talked about for decades. And to see it actually come to some kind of fruition, I would love to see this.
I mean, even this kind of storage was talked about in the original series, Star Trek days.
Yeah,
so that's how far back this has been sort of like theorized.
It's before that.
Before that.
Yeah, and the other thing that this reminds me of are the modules in 2001 when he's turning off HAL.
Yeah.
Those are clear rhomboid shapes.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Anyway.
But that is a different. Let me see what the chat is saying about this. Hopefully, I haven't just bored everybody to death with this.
Star Trek's original series used to use ceramic plates. You can actually hear them when Spock puts it into the table to be read. You can actually hear it clink.
Yeah,
when he puts it in.
Well, that was meant to be like a data cartridge sort of thing, right? Sure. And what was going on inside that cartridge, I don't know. I mean, I've read a lot of Star Trek technical manuals, but I don't remember seeing an explanation of what was in the TOS data cartridges.
I don't think the Akutas ever explained it in detail.
Yeah. I mean, the deflector dish, sure. Jeffrey's tubes, no problem. But what's inside that little data cartridge? I have no freaking idea.
Can I take a quick second to do kind of an off story kind of thing?
No, now is the time to do it because I feel like this has reached its conclusion. Go ahead.
All right. Star Trek, is it the Undiscovered Country? Is that the one? I think that's the one. Yeah, it's the one with yeah. So there's Kirk has to take the Enterprise out, and he's talking to Spock, and Kirk says, "Do you realize this crew is supposed to stand down in 3 months? You should have trusted me." The next scene is them showing up on the Enterprise talking to Valera. And Bone says something like, "You must be very proud." She turns at him and says, "I don't think so." And yeah, she's a Vulcan, all right. That part of the movie, they take the Enterprise out of space dock at full impulse, I think, or half impulse. Well, they're supposed to use thrusters.
Yeah.
I found this clip from a guy who likes to recreate scenes from Star Trek, just a scene, not a movie, just a scene. And he picked that scene to change. And I swear to God, this guy did a better job than Paramount did. The scene that you see is, instead of the Enterprise just slowly moving out of the star dock, he has obviously the lights coming on and all that kind of wonderful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually see thrusters fire on the outside of the saucer section, moving it left and right, and the nacelle passes right past your right eye,
mm-hmm.
and then he switches to the front of it, and it shows the Enterprise coming at you in a curve off to your left. As it's coming on at you, the deflector dish comes online, goes from black, unpowered, to blue, and it's a very deep-throated thrum when it comes on, like this. And I swear to God, for as much of a Trekkie as I am, this gave me the chills. It was so good. So what I did was I got a copy of the original movie.
Yeah.
And I removed all the parts that Paramount put in, and I put all his parts in instead.
That's better.
Nice.
You improved it.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, there I fixed it.
That's now what's on my NAS. So every time I go to watch the movie, I'm not a great editor. I admit I'm not a great editor, but it's good enough. I wonder. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I don't think we'd be allowed to play it.
Yeah, I can think of 50 reasons why we're not allowed to do that.
No, not a chance. Not a chance in the world.
It's not I mean, it's out on YouTube. You could play. Anybody go out there. I could put a link, and anyone go out and play the thing. Maybe that's the right thing to do. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, just put the link in the chat.
Yeah, share the link.
Yeah.
I'd be definitely interested in seeing that.
And if suddenly half the people watching disappear, I'll know to blame. But no, put the link in the chat.
Including one of your co-hosts. And speaking of, just real quick, I don't want to derail us too hard.
No, it's okay. We're okay for time because I skipped
the
stuff.
Wolf 359 fan made stuff, like the big recent Wolf 359 creation. They're splicing together like pieces of show, some independent film stuff, and like doing a short series of different perspectives of what happened to some of the ships at Wolf 359. And so far, it's been incredible. It's not like the highest quality stuff. They use a lot of like animated 2D images in that they take a 2D image and they kind of like fake animation it. But it's the story behind it. It's really, really cool because you're like, one scene you'll get like that shot of like Ben Sisko on the bridge of his ship, but then it'll switch to the fleet commander. It's really cool stuff. Yeah, everybody's chomping at the bit for a link.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
There is the link.
Okay.
Now everybody is going over to click that link.
That's okay. We get a lot of delayed views. I'm sure they'll come back.
That entire scene is recreated beginning to end. There's no part of Paramount in it anywhere.
Nice. Because Paramount is dumb.
I mean, the models are the model is so nice. It's so crisp and professionally done. Like, this is the type of CG you'd expect to see in a big budget movie, not
Oh yeah,
some
this guy's
random
amazing.
He really is. The attention to detail is just, and this has been the great thing about being part of like the Star Trek fan base, is like people are so passionate about the work that they do, the fan made work that they do. It just, when you get gems like that and the Wolf 359 stuff and the Borg Queen stuff, like it just it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling in the cockles of my heart.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that with the four of us on here that we didn't suddenly start talking about Star Trek, but we do actually have some things we need to cover before we're done. So
I did misspeak a little bit. The scene with Polaris is still in there.
Yeah, the bridge scenes are still. Yeah,
that's still there.
That's
the only part.
Because while I've got Skep here, there's some things we need to talk about. So
the impulse engine firing up. That's
so here we go talking about things that work to things that don't work. Skep.
Yes.
Mortgage rates, mortgage interest rates today, rates increase again, continued volatility likely. Mortgages, 30-year mortgages are actually above 8% now.
Okay.
Above 8%.
And why do we think that is happening?
Why do we think mortgages are above 8%? Well, I mean, it probably has something to do with interest rates. I mean, just going to go out on a limb here.
With interest rates and inflation.
Yeah.
Here's what is happening. They are having to raise. They want to raise the interest rates for the country without raising the interest rates for the bank. That's the gentle dance that's going on right now. So they want to raise the. They want tighter money right now because we are in real danger because we've printed too much money of having a super overheated economy, and that's why the Fed is being very conservative right now.
So I want to talk about some of the effects of this because the cause, I think we're all too well aware of.
Capital,
but the effects of this are, well, many, but two of the ones that stand out are the number of people who are buying houses using a mortgage, not very many compared to what it normally would be. What you're seeing is cash buyers moving in. Now, in terms of cash buyers moving in, if you feel that individual home ownership is an important thing and you're not Klaus Schwab, individuals typically don't have a lot of cash lying around with which to just buy a house outright. So what we're getting is investors or maybe people who are from other countries who are looking to potentially leave them at some point, looking for places. Yeah, looking for places to just park their money, right? So just buy a house. Effectively money laundering, but on an international sort of way. You know, it's not because they broke the law, but it's just how do I get money out of this country into the United States so that I can hopefully escape there? Well, buy a bunch of real estate. So a lot of these properties that are being sold, and there are far fewer properties being sold than normally, where I think the sales are off like 20% from where they were a year ago. It doesn't really do a whole lot for individual home ownership. Now, as a principal, I actually really like home ownership because, you know, honestly, paying rent is suboptimal in several different ways. It's much better for people to build equity, et cetera, right? But, and I'm not Klaus Schwab. I want people to actually own their own homes. And this just puts, you know, of the few people that could afford a house, now you've placed them completely out of range of everybody. Everybody who wants to buy a house, who wants to not be a slave to rent, is getting screwed harder than ever before because it's impossible for most people to afford 8% mortgages.
All you have to do is give up your avocado toast, Harry.
No, it's way past that. We're talking about this is thousands and thousands of extra dollars a year for anybody trying to buy a house.
Yeah.
The problem with 8% money, the cost of capital is so high, is that you have to settle for so much less house than you would anywhere else. That starts to affect market demand, and that's what's starting to happen now, and that's why you're getting the shift in the makeup of it's not ma and pa capital, laying down a bunch of money and buying their house and doing the house thing over the course of a career. That's not happening anymore. Gary says you got a lot of cash money coming in, you got a lot of foreign money money coming in, and none of that is good for our economy. None of that is good.
But there is a solution, Skep. The people of San Francisco have a solution for this. These people basically buying these houses and not renting them out just because they're investments. Why don't we just force people to rent them out? San Francisco could get 90% of its homeless off the street within the country's with the country's fiercest housing speculation tax.
Taking a homeless guy.
But landlords are already fighting it tooth and nail because why I don't understand why these people in San Francisco don't want to essentially rent houses to people that are troubled,
Harry, hold
income
up.
insecure.
Yes. Right.
Are you supposed to be presenting something?
Oh,
right
sorry,
now?
I turned it off. I turned it off while we were.
I knew.
Sorry, my mistake.
Okay.
There. Now we have this picture.
Back. Don't
Okay,
worry.
sorry about that. Thanks, man. No, we'll just basically tax people into compliance. Now, when you look at the
Fiercest
combination of
housing
laws, look at the
speculation.
housing problems with squatters, right? If somebody gets into that house and then just decides, I'm not going to pay the rent, it's going to be 3-4 years before you can even get them out of there, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
There's a hack to that, though.
I am aware of
in
the hack, but
California.
I wouldn't bet my livelihood on it if I was thinking of renting a house. I've seen the video that I think you're referring to, and I wouldn't.
Yeah, but if someone has squatted in your house, there's a quick way to get them out.
I don't know if that one video
squat
where it
back.
worked that one time is that we should take that as a guarantee.
No, I wouldn't say a guarantee, but it does exist.
Well, it worked in one case that the guy basically walked in and they agreed to leave after he showed them the paperwork.
Well, they didn't have any choice at that point. If he shows them the paperwork, they have to leave. It's against the law if they don't.
Yeah, but what happens if they don't? We don't know what would have happened if they had just said no. It's just one case. It's just one case, one video, one guy worked a loophole that worked one time. I don't know if that's a general solution because honestly, if it was that simple, why isn't everybody doing it?
Maybe nobody knows about it.
I think if you're in the business of renting real estate and that's how you make your money, if it was as simple as that video, so what happened in the video that you're talking about is the guy, there were squatters in a house that belonged to what was his mom, right? And so his mom basically gave an agreement to him. And because he had an agreement to rent the house from his mom, his rights as a renter superseded their rights as squatters. And he went and confronted them with this, and then they left, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, if it's that simple, then why isn't everybody doing it? I guess is the question.
Because criminals are the exception. They're not the rule. They're not the norm. And criminals like that aren't generally very intelligent. And another thing is that the people who would be resorting to this type of squatting, of renting, then not paying rent, and then being forced to spend years in the courts to get them kicked out. Landlords, I don't know when the last time any of you guys rented. Landlords are pretty discerning. They tend to do some checking at the very least to see that you have a job and that you can actually pay the rent. So it would be hard for, I would imagine it's harder pressed for somebody who would resort to those tactics willfully to rip somebody off to be less in that. So, I mean, there's those multi-layers of filtering before somebody could get to that point. But that being said, I have seen enough stories from around my own country, your country, where this stuff does happen. You know, they have a hard time getting people out.
Yeah, well, we've covered it in the show. Like that woman who's been for 17 months has been in this luxury apartment in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, next to LeBron James.
And before that, she was in a place in, I think, Palo Alto or Oakland or someplace. She was in some other place where she was there for a few years pulling the same kind of scam. So the video that Hammer's talking about, hold on, the video that Hammer's talking about, the guy studied it himself. He's a layperson. He's not a lawyer, right? And so he thinks he found a loophole and he executed this plan, and then the people agreed to leave. This scheme of his, this method, never had a court challenge. It was never really tested in any meaningful way. God, I hope it's that easy. Wouldn't it be great if we could just get rid of all the squatters by doing just that? I mean, I want this to be true, but I fear that it can't be.
Reasonable.
It sounds reasonable, but a lot of things sound reasonable to lay people when you're dealing with the law.
Yeah, then you go in court and it ain't quite that easy.
Yeah, because they might just say, look, this is essentially fraud. You set this agreement up knowing full well that these people were squatting there. I can think of 1,000 ways this could go sideways. But anyway, we're getting off into details we don't need to get into.
They set it up after the fact?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was missing. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. We should stop before I bore myself. Okay. But no, this San Francisco thing is terrible.
Tax rate on this fierce housing speculation tax. What is
Well,
the rate on it?
I knew what it was a moment ago, but now that I've loaded the article, they've paywalled
don't worry
me.
about it.
So we're, but Vancouver, Toronto has the same kind of thing going on, don't they? Isn't there a move going on in your place, Functional, to do the same thing? These kinds of initiatives are cropping up all over the place. We're just going to we're going to fine people if you don't rent rental properties. Full stop. And it's thousands of dollars.
Under the vacancy tax, owners would be on the hook for $2,500 to $5,000 per empty unit, depending on its size, an amount that increases every year it's left unoccupied. So you got to pay $5,000 to the city every year.
Yep.
To hold on to your unoccupied unit. If you fail to pay it, they take over your property.
Huh.
Interesting. And they passed that. They passed it.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I can't imagine what the unintended consequences would be of this. But talking about things that work and things that don't work, if you look at a study between, they're going to paywall me on this one too, but luckily I've already memorized this entire thing. Costco has almost no problem with theft compared to other stores. Target is getting just beaten up on people going in and just robbing their stores, either en masse or individuals doing shoplifting. And they're closing stores because some of them are just not sustainable. They just recently announced they were going to close 9 stores in high crime areas. But Costco doesn't have that problem. And the differences between why Costco doesn't have the problem and Target does, I think are kind of interesting. For one thing, Costco, you have to have a membership to get in. Maybe you guys aren't familiar with Costco. I don't think they're actually nationwide.
I've had a Costco membership for years.
Yeah. So you have to have a membership, right? So you got to show your papers just to get inside. You can't just be some rando that shows up.
It's a purchasing club.
And the quantities of things that they sell are so large. It's not like you can hide a gross of toilet paper under your jacket. No matter.
Costco used to be Price Club, right?
I don't.
You have to wheel that barrel of dill pickles out the front.
Either they used to be Price Club or they merged or something. But
yeah, and they brand a lot of their own merchandise, right? So I mean, if you steal something from Costco, it's pretty obvious where it came from. You know, they don't have a whole lot of SKUs, right? So, I mean, the number of things that Costco sells is actually tiny.
Quite low.
Compared to
like 3,500 SKUs or something like that. It's very small.
Yeah, well, they got up to like 5,000 at one point, and then they decided, hey, we're getting a little big for our britches. No, sorry, I'm actually confusing them with Trader Joe's. Same kind of model. But Costco is, they're doing just fine. This recent crime shoplifting thing is not a problem for them because essentially it's like a fortress. It's like a fortress to get into there. You have to show your papers to get in, and they control how you get in and out. There's no it's not like you just go into Target, grab a bunch of stuff, and then rush out to your car. It's I just think it's really interesting that Costco is largely unaffected by this stuff. Maybe Target could learn something from them.
And I don't know what it's like down there. Up here, we don't have Sam's Club. We only have Costco in this whole sphere of types of stores. But up here, their average pay is a lot higher than the average Walmart or former Target employee associate was making. Like a significant amount more. And when you have and they seem to at least from people I know who work there and who have worked there, Costco likes to take care of its employees, even at the lowly, sales associate or stock boys or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to have a better business model, and it seems like the people who work there care more about this place than the average Target teenager who's just like, yeah, I'm just here so I can buy my oh god, I almost said a bad word. My syrup on the weekends. You know, like I need to get my tilt on.
You mean the premix
They're
for
not
purple
gonna give a
drank? Is that
shit.
what you're referring to?
If they see somebody walking out the front door with like the toilet paper example under each arm, like they're not going to even give a shit. Whereas I think Costco people might be a little bit more inclined to be like, whoa, where are you going, pal? Maybe not get like physically involved. But again, I know Costco also has armed guards on site.
They're invested in the well-being of the company, and I believe they have much more aggressive profit
My
sharing
point
and
is,
other
from
things.
from the bottom up, there seems to be a little bit more investment in the fact that, hey, I work here, I want this place to do well, so I have a job.
Costco hires a better quality of worker than Target does. I have shopped extensively, and I promise you, Costco is miles ahead.
Yeah.
Target in employee.
It's how brick and mortar should be. I mean, at least in my opinion, should be ran basically. In this delivery economy, you need to have that niche, and the niche is I can go buy 2 gross of toilet paper and get a deal on it.
Let's see. Costco worth it if just for the food court. Effing hot dogs are so... I think there should be a G in there somewhere. Good. It's stupid. Yeah. No, the food court at Costco is awesome. Cheap pizza, cheap hot dogs. I mean, it's not...
Hot dogs are still $1.50.
It's not the super cheap economy style 3/4 pound hot dog buffet at Westward Ho, but it is pretty epic.
It's a snack while you're shopping for 12-pack of plasma TVs and a 20-gallon drum of Coke syrup.
No, I mean, I don't want to say where I shop. I shop at a restaurant supply store, that's designed for restaurant people. That's where I buy most of my food and some of my stuff at that place, because they have the flour that I need for my baking. I know it's annoying, but it's like if you change the percentage of protein in flour, I have to redo all of my recipes, which would irritate me.
And quick question: so Sam's Club is basically the same as Costco, right? Because we don't have Sam's up here.
No.
Well, Sam's Club is Walmart.
It's Sam's Club is a division of Walmart. It is a It is a members only club. It's the members only Walmart.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like it's on that same level as Costco.
Yes,
but
they try and do
volume.
The same thing. They don't
membership,
do it as well, but they do it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe Costco. There are some lessons here that other retailers could learn from instead of just closing all of their stores and letting people take advantage of them. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. Yay, Costco. Even though I don't shop there, I think it's a pretty good outfit.
The big thing is keeping the riffraff out, and they do. There's a guard at every Costco.
Yep.
There'll be a guard. There's always one standing around, and at least in Texas,
you can't even get in to steal stuff if you're the wrong people.
These guys will shoot you.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where are we? We have 10 and a half minutes left. So do we want to talk about important things? Sure. And then we'll do some fun stuff. How about that?
Sure.
This is mostly just me ranting. I'm going to rant for a little bit, but I promise it won't take very long. Scientists propose sweeping new law of nature expanding on evolution. Okay. Now, the fact that this is on Reuters, not in a proper journal, is already
I was just going to say
already strike one.
This did not come from nature, did it?
Big claims. Scientists. Which scientists?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just
let's
just look at. We don't need to get into this very very deeply to see where the flaw is. Okay. When British naturalist Charles Darwin sketched out his theory of evolution in the 1859 book On Origin of Species, proposing that biological species change over time through the acquisition of traits that favor survival and reproduction, it provoked a revolution in scientific thought. Paradigm shift. Yay. Now, 164 years later, 9 scientists and philosophers on Monday proposed a new law of nature that includes the biological evolution described by Darwin as a vibrant example of a much broader phenomenon, one that appears at the level of atoms, minerals, planetary atmospheres, planets, stars, and more. It holds that complex natural systems evolve to states of greater patterning, diversity, and complexity.
That's bullshit.
That is a
Dr.
hot,
Seuss?
steaming pile of bullshit.
Pile of bullshit.
Because it shows first of all that they don't understand the way evolution works. Full
Yes.
stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't understand system analysis.
Evolution
at all.
is not about emergent properties of complexity. Evolution is about things that work cause you to survive, and things that don't work cause you to fail. And because traits are inherited, things change over time into, so if it turned out that the Earth became much more favorable to single-celled organisms and all of the higher life forms died, it wouldn't be more complex, right? It wouldn't be this fantasy that these scientists and philosophers came up with, but evolution would do its job, right? Life would be preserved.
This is a plot for a bad science fiction.
It is.
novel
It's
is what
the
this
whole
is.
it's the whole thing. Like, they don't understand what emergent properties are,
No.
and so they've
this
come
is a
up with
Michael
this.
Crichton plot.
It's just 9 people jerking each other off and then making stupid statements.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, well, we got to
Seems
bring
to-
something from the conference. We'll have a new approach to evolution. We'll make some obeisance to the woke
Yep.
and to diversity, and how diversity is natural, and
Yep.
get some words out there like that, and everybody will feel good and it'll be kumbaya. What nonsense!
It
What
is
utter
such nonsense, and this passes for science journalism.
Don't
It
make
seems
me
to
laugh.
ignore the laws of entropy too.
Well, why
Things
is
always
there?
go to a lesser state.
Well, why is there structure and not structure? And
Well,
it all
disorder
goes.
increases. Disorder always increases.
Well, I mean, except some things do organize themselves. Entropy is thermodynamics is one thing. The whole thing about emergent structure. Why does anything have structure as opposed to just being a thin paste of neutrons? That
a
kind
fair
of stuff is complicated, and it all goes to do with like if you talk about Big Bang cosmology, the physical laws at some point sort of set as things cool off, and all of the structure that comes after that is basically determined by that handful of traits.
Physical laws. Yeah, exactly right.
Why do crystals form as opposed to not forming? It's because of the relationships between some things that you see things that look organized. But it doesn't mean that evolution means that we're just going to evolve into what Michio Kaku would talk about as a type 2 or a type 3 civilization. Sometimes the thing that survives is not more complicated or more elegant or more yeah.
Can even
Evolution
be a
does not
restart.
give a shit about you.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't give a
Nature
shit
does
about
not
diversity
care.
Either. It does not. It does not drive toward diversity, and these guys who fantasize about that, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we can see modern day examples of that in like certain animals, crocodiles, alligators. No, I think it's just crocodiles. But like they've kind of hit sort of a stop wall because they're basically an apex predator. They don't. There's nothing really that they could. Maybe they could start talking as an improvement. I don't know.
There's no need.
But yeah, exactly. There's no need for them to communicate because once they separate from the family unit, they become basically solitary. They are in the same areas, but they basically keep to themselves. That there's no real hierarchical structure, so there's no need for communication, really. I have a feeling I know what's behind this. I just can't put my finger on it.
Okay, who's the black person?
He's got a thing, and he does it because he thinks it's funny.
Hammer. It is hilarious because this sounds like exactly like something like would come out of the flabby gums of Patrice Cullors.
It's what comes out of multi-generational fatherlessness because you have neither a father nor a grandfather to tell you to change the battery in your damn smoke alarm.
Yes, and then you don't seem to realize that maybe if you could actually hear that smoke alarm, you might pick up a book and learn something about all these different facets of scientific thought and discovery that leads you to realize everything. Like all 4 of us at the get-go, even at the get-go, we all knew, okay, this is bullshit.
Dude,
We
functional. I went to a market one time looking to buy some masa, and I asked a young Latina woman who was working at the store where the masa was, and she looked at me and said, "What's that?" And I just said,
A Latina said that?
A Latina said, a young Latina girl, and I said, I assume your mom has not taught you how to cook. And she said, no, of course not. It's like, anyway, sorry. It just makes me sad. Let all the good things just pass away.
Why do we need to learn to cook? I could just order.
But speaking of women,
where do you think tortillas come from?
You may have noticed that occasionally women can be vengeful. Woman spends 15 years getting revenge on a man who wronged her friend. Yeah, so this guy at a club, her friend spilled a drink on him, and he responded poorly to this. And so this woman made it her mission to just make this guy as miserable as possible for 15 years, because that's a good use of her time. She actually created like fake social media profiles so she could troll him and try to catfish him and stuff, and just generally mess with him. And it ultimately ended with him getting engaged to somebody that she knew. So she made a point of contacting that person and explaining what a piece of shit he was so that she wouldn't marry him. And she thinks this is some kind of victory, all because of somebody who said some saucy words over a spilled drink. 15 years of vengeance.
I don't get it. Women understand how crazy women are, and yet they still believe other women.
She lives in Dallas, Texas. I can't believe I wasn't married to her. I married the
you
other
live as
crazy
long
ones.
as you do.
I married all the other crazy ones.
Yeah. The great state of
Hell hath
Texas.
no fury.
Yeah. I mean, man, there's some people that I really don't like, and I have damn good reason to not like. I've never gone out of my way 15 years later to just fuck with them.
Yeah, I would do that with Hamas, but nobody else.
Communists. I mean, communists.
Yeah, communists also.
Yeah. Because commies don't deserve good treatment.
No, due process, and then once you're found guilty, comrade, wall in Minecraft.
Okay, and it would not be a Saturday show if we didn't have this as our final article. Could foreskin regeneration be the making of next medical millionaire? Scientists developed technique to regrow penis skin in lab, as 40% of circumcised men say they were too young to consent.
Oh, shit.
So,
doesn't mean at 40 years old I want them to sew it back on.
1 in 10 men are prepared to pay more than $20,000 to get their foreskin back.
Oh, that's
Are you kidding me?
So what they're doing is they're getting the cells, and they're actually putting them on like a mouse and growing the foreskin on the mouse before they then transplant it. This is the boutique medicine that we always wanted, right? Individualized care.
That's that skin, that soft tissue surgery hurts like motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of these things where, like, I think science is a mistake sometimes.
Yeah.
And this is not what I'm sorry, this just does not seem like a good use of anybody's time. Yeah. You know, if they could do something to help like those FGM women, right? To get their life back, I'd be okay, fine. I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. Neurologically damaged person, though.
Victims.
But, unless something really got screwed up and, you were really harmed in some significant way, maybe just walk it off and get on with your life and try not to let this be something that bothers you so much.
There's that possibility.
Maybe I just don't understand. Maybe I just don't know what it is. But there have to be a bunch of adult men that have been told that they've been harmed, and
people want to feel like victims.
People want to feel like victims.
It's just something that people cherish. They cherish the attention. They get serotonin and dopamine at the same time, so they feel happy and they feel secure at the same time. People showering down care and sympathy on them. That's all this is.
Yeah, the chat has pointed out, tell women to stop mutilating their infant sons. It's okay if Junior doesn't look like dad. That's a conversation that people probably need to have more often. But for the people who've gone about their lives only to find out that they were oppressed, I just, man, how much money do you have for this to get on your top 10 list of things to worry about?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
I'm so lonesome without my foreskin. Seriously.
You know, they used to have those. They used to have these videos in school, like "I'm Joe's heart, I'm Joe's stomach" or something. I don't recall "I'm Joe's foreskin."
Actually, you know where that came from? That came from the Reader's Digest. For years and years, from the 30s, and I read those. I read every one of those. I think in Reader's Digest. Oh, that's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, so did Tyler Durden. Yeah.
So,
I wonder if women prefer with or without. It's a question I've never heard answered.
It's a personal preference.
It's a personal
at least in
preference.
my experience.
Just marketing.
It would be, but if you were to take every woman who's ever had the experience and say, well, here's left, here's right, which one do you prefer? I'd be interested in that number.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I want to be blissfully unaware of what that number is.
I'd like to know what women think.
Well, considering there's nothing I can do about the answer to that, it's like I try not to ask a question that I don't know the answer to, or I don't know what I do with the data after I got it. It just seems like walk it off, get on with your life. Try not to let this thing upset you. But I guess if you want cosmetic surgery and you've got $20-something thousand burning a hole in your wallet, by all means,
go for it.
Go for it. You know, it's your life. You're living your best life. Just do it. You know, honestly, if a friend of mine had this done, I probably would just kind of go, okay, well, it's your money.
Yeah.
You know, probably better than getting new rims for your car, but okay. But you want to see something, I think this is kind of funny. So just one more palate cleanser and then we'll go. Did you guys ever see this fantastic Marvel production? No, it wouldn't be a Marvel. I guess it'd be DC from India. So this is Superman and Spider-Woman. And it goes like that, and then they're dancing. I just, you know, in terms of like copyright issues, I can't imagine why American businesses don't go after this stuff more. It's like, copyright? What copyright?
Times like this, I really wish I was on camera on stream because my face right now. Holy.
Isn't this great?
That S is significantly bigger than I've ever seen. It looks like it's in a different font.
Emotional damage.
Okay, and there's also, since it's Halloween, there's also Golimar. It bears a slight resemblance to Thriller.
I thought it was Drake.
Michael Jackson too. It's a Thriller video.
Yeah, basically. Except that's some weird chicken dance. I'm not sure what that is. He's got the pelvic thrust down there. This goes on for a while. I don't think Michael Jackson's estate needs to take the time to go after this.
No, this is clearly.
How many views?
Wow.
How many views does this have? How many views?
477,000.
Okay, half a mil. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Turkish Star Wars assassin. I love Turkish Star Wars. It's so awful.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome. I have to say, Golimar is pretty great, and that DC thing with Spider-Woman and Superman, I thought that was pretty excellent too. I don't know.
It's DC and Marvel.
Yeah, I enjoy a good weird Bollywood
Crossover?
thing. Yeah. It's like that episode that never got made, you know, where the Partridge Family teamed up with the Brady Bunch. Never happened. You know, and more is the pity. Anyway, this has been your Saturday Minions of the Zoo. Thank you.